Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tracy in LA, the podcast. We're now on episode 28. And I'm doing this pretty last minute, as in today is Tuesday, which is the day I usually try to release it, usually by early morning time. And today it's like 6 p.m. on Tuesday, and I'm finally recording it. So we're running a little behind, but it's my own timeline that I made up. So it's really not behind because it really doesn't matter except for the few of you that might actually expect it on Tuesday. I don't even put anything on the podcast or on Instagram saying it's releasing on Tuesday. So technically it can release whenever. But some of you have caught on that I do usually release it on Tuesday. So for those of you that do expect it on Tuesday and were wondering where it was, I'm sorry, but thanks for caring because that's cool. Mostly, I just thought it would be more interesting to record the podcast after the LA Unbound show so that I could talk about it and have it be released close to when we did the show versus releasing an episode on Tuesday that I recorded before Saturday, before the show, and then having to wait like another full week for the episode where I talk about the show. So I was like, I'll just record it on Sunday, which was the day after the show, so that it would be like a very timely episode and would be all about the show. Even though I had tons of other things I kind of wanted to talk about, and I could have easily recorded it on like Thursday or Friday and then just waited and recorded another one the next week, and just it would have been fine for people to wait a week to hear about the show. But anyway, because I did that and made that decision, I only had Sunday to record it so that I could edit it on Monday and release it on Tuesday. But I got the biggest migraine ever on Sunday, and I was feeling terrible all day. My head hurt. I was super nauseous. It was crazy because on show day, I didn't have the slightest headache, and my stomach felt great. My whole body felt great. No pain anywhere. It was actually really amazing in that way. But then I woke up Sunday morning and my head was kind of hurting, and I was like, man, why is my head hurting? Because I didn't eat sugar or anything. I literally brought a ton of food the day before. I was eating fruit and healthy stuff and stuff that I know that I can eat. I was drinking water, but I think with the amount that I was dancing on stage and behind stage when I was practicing and just running around and just having it be such a crazy day, sweating, and we were there all day from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then I stayed up really late that night when I got home because I was so wired from everything, and I was also exhausted. So I was like hyper, but also exhausted. So I couldn't even like get ready for bed. I just like fell down on the couch and just was posting stuff on Instagram, and my stuff's just like everywhere, but I'm hungry and I haven't eaten and I haven't taken a shower, and I just didn't go to bed till like 3 a.m. And then I was going to try to get up and go to church, but I woke up and my head was hurting, and it was also Father's Day. So I called my dad and my stepdad, which fortunately my headache hadn't gotten too bad yet. So I was able to have those conversations and it was still decently pleasant, but also my head was kind of hurting, and I was like, oh, this does not feel great. And then it just got progressively worse. I stayed home and watched church online, which my church that I've been visiting lately, it's called One. It's in like the Hollywood area, but it's also awesome because they have all these service times where they show it live online. Well, I don't know if it's always live. I'm actually confused about that because there's only 2 morning times for in person. There's like a 9 a.m. and 11:30, I think. But then online, they show it at 7 a.m., which I'm like, how do they do one at 7 a.m. when they don't have the in-person one until 9 a.m.? I'm very confused about that. I'm like, do they do a practice one at 7 a.m.? Because I'm pretty sure it's the same sermon. Like, they're all the same from that Sunday. I'm like, do they do a rehearsal at 7 a.m. and they show that one when there's no, like, people there? I'm so confused. I've never tried to watch the 7 a.m. one, so maybe I should do that sometime and figure out what the mystery is. But it's at, like, 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 11:30. There might be a mid-afternoon one. I can't remember. And then I think there's like a 6 p.m. And then eventually they'll just like post a recording of it. But it's cool to watch it kind of live or whatever because there'll be like 700 people watching it with you and talking in the chat and stuff. And I really like it. Kind of like watching it at home. I would prefer to be there in person. I have friends there and it's fun to like really be there with like the worship and everything. But anyway, my head was hurting. So I'm like, I'm just going to watch it online. But I literally had to lay down with a pack of ice on my head. That's the best thing for me when I have a migraine, besides my migraine medication, which I don't have right now because I ran out of it I have the nausea medication still, but it does weird things to my stomach. I really try not to take it. The migraine medication also works great, but I took my last one a while ago and I just haven't been eating sugar, so I shouldn't have to deal with migraines. But somehow I was dealing with a migraine, and so a Ziploc bag of a bunch of ice cubes is the best thing as far as ice on my head, because an actual ice pack, it doesn't go into like all the crevices, just like a bunch of little ice cubes do when you put it in a Ziploc bag. So I just did that. I'll put like one little paper towel underneath it, and I just lay it all the way back and just put it on my head. And then I turned on my computer. I was listening to the sermon. It started out and it was really good, but then my head was getting worse and worse and worse. And so I was just like closing my eyes, not able to pay attention to the message, falling in and out of sleep, which is not a bad thing because sleeping when you have a migraine is like the best thing you could do. But a lot of times you can't fall asleep because it's so bad. The nausea was getting worse. It was just getting progressively worse all day. I had to eventually just turn off my computer. I couldn't listen to the message. I really just couldn't get anything done that day. So it was rough. I was definitely not going to be recording this podcast because I could barely sit up. And when you're that nauseous, it's hard to even like drink water because you kind of feel like you're going to throw up. So what I think happened is I think I didn't drink enough water the day before at the performance. I think that even though I was drinking water through the day, I just don't think I was drinking enough for the amount of energy that I was exerting. And because the next morning when I woke up, Monday, what is today? Today is Tuesday. Okay. When I woke up on Monday morning, I felt a lot better, but I was so thirsty. And I felt like I drank like 8 glasses of ice water before I went to my dance class, just in the morning when I was like journaling and stuff, because I was just like outrageously thirsty. I think I drank the amount of water you're supposed to drink in 2 days in like one morning. So I was like, I think I was pretty thirsty. I think next time I do some sort of crazy long performance day, I need to bring electrolytes or something that hydrates me faster or more in a more extreme way or something like that. Anyway, that's my really long story to say why I am shooting this on Tuesday. Oh, and I could have shot it on Monday, but I really only had the morning time available to have done that because then I had class, I had babysitting, and then I had another class. And I didn't even get home till close to midnight on Monday. And I was just like, if I try to shoot this in the morning, the day after I felt so sick, that's going to be annoying to try to like go somewhere and do that before I have to leave for class. And then I'm really not going to have time to edit because I'm going to get back home so late. It's not going to get out by Tuesday. So I'd rather have another day of recovery. And I was feeling better, but it was nice to just like not have to think about it and just go to my usual things. And then I'm like, Tuesday, I don't have anything going on except stuff I just have to get done at home. So I will sleep in again, be fully recovered, and be able to do this podcast relaxed and with nothing hurting, which is how I feel right now, which is good. But also I just feel sort of like there's so much stuff to talk about. I had such a long list of things to talk about even before the topic of talking about the show. So I'm like, probably I won't talk about those things. Maybe I'll talk about them next time if they're still on my mind. So I make a list all week, like as things come up and I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this on my podcast. I'll make a little list, a little note on my phone. But then when like the day of me shooting the podcast comes, I'll look at my list and be like, okay, what do I actually want to talk about? Like, what do I still care about? And I'll cross things off that I don't care about anymore because it's really hard for me to talk about things that I don't care about. So even right now, it's been a couple days since the show and I feel like I care about it less right now. So I'm like, am I even going to be able to passionately talk about this? I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, we're doing the whole like not being a perfectionist thing. And so we're just pressing record and we're just talking because I kind of wasn't in the mood to do this today. Even though I'm feeling a lot better, I was just kind of like, ugh, I wish I could just like stay home and like go in the hot tub. I'm house sitting right now. I mean, technically I have a house tub. Technically I have a hot tub at the place I actually live too. But for some reason, the hot tub at my house sitting house, I just tend to go in that more. And so I was like, it'd be nice to just stay home and like go in the hot tub. But no, I'm going to shoot this episode. And I know once it gets going, I'll enjoy it because I love telling stories. But here we are trying to be disciplined, even though it's the last minute. Maybe I'll still release it today. I don't know if I'll be able to get home, edit this, and release it tonight. We'll see. I might just release it tomorrow on Wednesday. We'll see what happens. And I'm also kind of behind on Dance Journey. I have one episode I've been trying to edit. It was easy to edit, but the sound is kind of messed up, so I have to go through it again. I just haven't had time to do that with the show and everything and all the rehearsals and practicing. So I still have to finish that. So hopefully I can finish that tomorrow and get that to the person so they can approve it and we can get going with that too. And then I need to schedule some more people. I even put that off because I was just trying to catch up. I'm like, if I have more people scheduled, I'm just going to get stressed out. So I have lots of people I'm planning to ask, and I don't see any problem with scheduling a bunch of people, but I just was putting it off so that I could get caught up and feel like I was on top of everything. So that's where we're at with my schedule right now. I know that was your main interest and concern, so I'm glad we could like cover that right away off the bat. Anyway, the show. Okay, the LA Unbound show. It's my 3rd season with them. We had our show on Saturday. It is a crazy day on show day because it's like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. You get there in the morning. You do blocking. So there's basically 25 dances that are on this big stage. And you get there generally in costume and makeup, or most of us do, or you have to get it on by a certain time. But they give each piece about 4 or 5 minutes to go on stage and like do the blocking. So basically they just go into all the formations that you're in the piece, and they block it on the stage so you know exactly where you're standing. So like in rehearsals, obviously they try to block it as much as possible, but it's not the actual stage, and you need the actual stage to like know exactly where to stand for different parts of the song and parts of the dance. And it's always so interesting to me. Like the first season that I did this, it felt crazy because it was kind of my second time performing dance. I had just performed for an Easter dance performance for a church before that, and we got to practice on that stage multiple times before we had that show. Like I think we practiced on the stage 4, 5, 6 times. But with LA Unbound, you really only get to practice on the stage 1 time. So before that 1 time, you do the blocking. And my first season, I was like, how on earth could you remember like exactly where you're standing when this is the only time you've ever been on the stage? And they're going through it in 4 minutes, and they're just like, okay, next formation. Okay, you guys are going to be center. You guys are going to be, downstage left, downstage right. And then this part, you need to be all the way to this corner, and this part come out of this wing. There's like 3 wings on each side of the stage. You have to know which ones to go in and out of if you're coming off and on the stage during the piece. It's a lot to learn in 4 minutes when you're also trying to remember the choreography. Your adrenaline is rushing, like you're nervous because you're going to finally perform it. And you have to remember like what part of the stage you're standing on, what little X. Sometimes there's a little tape mark for certain parts, but other than that, you kind of just have to remember. And also in relation to the other people you're standing around, it's a lot. So anyway, the first season when I was performing, I did feel like, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to remember this? But I was glad that I was mostly kind of in the back, or I could just kind of like follow other people. So I didn't feel super overwhelmed by it. And I was only in 2 pieces that season. But yeah, every season I'm always like, still like, I don't know how I'm going to remember all this. I've gotten better at it. I've gotten better at formations in general, and I've gotten better at kind of getting into my head when we're blocking. And sorry, I was going to tell you what the whole day was like, but then I got stuck on the blocking part. But I do want to tell the story because it's kind of funny. Because now this season, I was more in the front for actually all 3 pieces. I have certain parts where I'm in the front. And I was like, shoot, I got to really know where I'm going on the stage because I don't have anyone to like go behind or follow. And when you're in the front, you kind of don't know what's going on behind you either. So you really can't do as much like in relation to other people or depend on other people. You kind of have to like set it yourself and go there. And so it's kind of funny because I was really like trying to pay attention since I'm like, okay, wait, especially for the parts where I'm in front, I need to really remember like where I'm standing. Am I on the apron or am I not on the apron? The first time I ever heard someone say something about like, are we dancing on the apron? I was like, what are they talking about? The apron? The only apron I know is like in a kitchen when you're cooking, you're wearing an apron, although I don't really know anyone that actually wears aprons, and I don't ever wear an apron. But that's the only time I ever heard the word apron. So it was hilarious to me that no one ever explained that when I first heard the word apron when I was dancing with LA Unbound. But maybe that's a word they use regularly in dance performance about stages. I don't know. But it's this like, it's the part that would cover where the orchestra would be or something if that was below it. I don't really know. But it's kind of like this half circle part of the stage that sticks out more into the audience, and sometimes you dance on that and sometimes you're just at the edge of it where it starts, like and you don't actually dance on it. Most of the time you don't actually dance on it, at least in my experience with doing these performances. So anyway, there's just a lot to think about with the blocking and the formations. And what else is funny is because each piece only has 4 or 5 minutes, the choreographer is really like going really fast. Like sometimes, like last season, I felt like my choreographers were really into planning, like practicing to go into each formation for the blocking time because you only have 4 minutes. So if they will literally set a timer and like kick you off the stage if you're not done. So those choreographers from last season, they were really intense about like, let's practice going through the formations really quickly so that we can do this on the stage easily. So they were like, okay, first formation, second formation, third formation. They didn't really call them first, second, and third. Usually in these pieces, there's kind of like a name for the formation because of what it looks like or what part of the song it is. The choreographer ends up coming up with a name for each formation. And so they'll just go in order and be like, okay, this formation, everyone goes there. Okay, next formation, everyone goes there. So last season, I think I was a little better at going to the formations faster because we went over that a lot, even in rehearsals. But this season, I felt like we didn't do that as much before the actual blocking on the stage with all my pieces. So when they would be like, okay, you know, this formation, it's hard. For some reason, like, and another girl confirmed this with me, that I'm not the only one that thinks this is hard. But it's one thing when you're doing the choreography and the song is on, you can remember like the formations and where you're going for each part. But when there's no song playing and you're not doing the choreography and they're just like, okay, first formation, okay, second formation. Even if there is a special name for it, there's a lot of formations. And we're not used to hearing the name of the formation. We're used to hearing the song and doing the choreography and knowing when to go because of that. So really my brain, and it's like the first thing in the morning too. It's early and a lot of us probably didn't get enough sleep because we were like excited or nervous the night before. And I got up really early because I was trying to do my makeup and everything. And yeah, I was focusing so hard to try to know, like, every time they said the next formation, it would take me a couple seconds and they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, wait, this one. And so it was just already kind of hard for me, but I was like trying my best. And at one point when we were doing the formations and the blocking for K-pop Demon Hunters, and the choreographer generally like will stand in like the audience seating and kind of like shout things at us and look at us on the stage when they're telling us where to go for the formations. And she was doing all the formations, saying them. We kept going into them. I was following for the most part. Then at one point she goes, okay, partner formation. That was the name of that formation, partner formation. And I was already kind of in the front, so I was still standing in the front, and I was like racking my brain like, partner formation. I was like, wait, which one is that? And keep in mind, we're not doing the choreography. So if we were doing the choreography, I would have remembered what I did at this part, but we were just going through the formations like quickly, and there already had been like 12, you know, and then it was like partner formation, and I'm just looking. I was really just thinking, but I guess what happened was like, I turned around, so like I wasn't facing the audience, I was facing everyone else on the stage because I was in the front and I was trying to look at everybody else to figure out what they were doing so I could remember what partner formation was. And so I'm looking and my brain is like so scattered. I'm like, what is partner formation? Where do I go? Who is my partner for this? And I'm like looking around, and eventually the people in the front that I'm blocking because I'm in front of them are kind of like pushing me out of the side. They're like, and then finally one of them goes, Tracy, you're off right now. You're off the stage right now. And I was like, oh, I'm like, I'm not in this formation. But it was so funny because like there's this one part in the song where I do go off into the wings because I have a special part with these 2 other girls where we come out as a trio and we do our own little like solos / do them together down at the center of the stage. So there's a part where we're not in because we go off the stage in order to come on for that part, which I always know when we're actually doing the choreography. But when she said partner formation, I was just like so confused. And it took me so long to figure out that I wasn't supposed to even be there. And so the choreographer later, I was like joking with her about it because I was like, I could not remember what was going on during that part. I was like, who's my partner? She was like, yeah, I saw you just standing there like looking at everyone. I was like, what is Tracy doing? Is she just like admiring this formation? I was like, it just made me laugh. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I was just standing there admiring the formation. Wow, everyone's doing such a great job. No, like I literally just had no idea what was going on. And finally, literally people had to like physically push me off the side to like not off the stage, but off into the wings to be like, you are not in this part. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. Like, it made me feel so dumb. I mean, not really, but I was just like, I really do know the choreography and I do generally know the formations. Just like doing it this way when it's so fast and it's just the name of the formations and we're not listening to the music and we're not doing the choreography, that is hard for me. But anyway, I did the best I could and I generally remembered where to go. Definitely dress rehearsal. So we do the blocking and we get through that pretty quickly. And then we just start the dress rehearsal. They have some announcements and then they're like, okay, dress rehearsal. So the audience isn't there yet. It's our first time practicing on the stage. We literally just learned where to go on the stage moments before, which I mean, yeah, we did practice in studios before that. And we know generally where to go in relation to other people. And the choreographer tries to explain the stage and like exactly where to go. But you kind of just don't know till you're really there and seeing it. And I will say that the stage felt smaller in some ways. I mean, we were practicing in kind of large studios, which was cool because there's been seasons where we've practiced in really small studios and then it was kind of harder to like do it full out and stuff. But because we were kind of practicing in larger studios, even when they tried to like tape the dimensions of the stage, which supposedly that was accurate, but when we were actually on the stage, it felt smaller. It felt a little more crowded. I don't know. And two of the pieces I'm in had like 20 people. So it was just like a lot. And I will say that I don't know if you can see it, but I did get a little bruise during our dress rehearsal because it was very crowded on stage and we did just learn the blocking. And like I said, it's really hard to remember where to go. And there's someone who stands in front of me and they just don't know what's going on behind them. Like same for me when I'm standing in the front. And so, yeah, they accidentally hit me and were so nice about it and apologized. But it was during the dress rehearsal, so at least there wasn't an audience. But it really hit me hard. And I was like, dang, I thought my tooth got knocked out for a second. Like that was in my imagination. That's not what happened. But it did hurt. I mean, the pain went away pretty fast. But I was like, dang, that was like a hard hit, you know? But fortunately, this person was like really apologetic. And then after the dress rehearsal was like, Tracy, can we go back in there and can you show me like what happened? Because I was kind of trying to tell them like, why that happened because I'm not in the very front, I knew like why it was happening and how we got too close together. And so fortunately, we actually went back in and looked at the stage together and I told them like, this is why, because like I should be here and you should be here and this is the reason why this happened. And then they understood and then it never happened in the performances. So that was great. A really good example of good communication and that working out and everything. But yeah, I woke up with this like pretty crazy bruise. Like you probably can't even really see it, but it's just like this dark gray area on my chin. It doesn't really like hurt anymore, like a tiny bit, but I'm sure it'll go away. I was just like, you couldn't see it the day of the show, but the next day I woke up and I was like, dang, is that a bruise? Like, what is that? That's crazy. So, I mean, it's kind of cool because it's like, yeah, well, we were just really getting into it. And so now I got this cool bruise. It's like someone who's like a skateboarder and then they get like bruises or cut up and they're like proud of it. I feel like, look at me. I was like dancing so hard. We were all performing on stage and I got like a big bruise, like so cool. I just never really got a bruise on my face before. I deserve to get a bruise on my face though, because the amount of people that I have hit in dance class in their face, especially in my crazy contemporary classes where sometimes they're really packed and we have some really crazy full out moves with a lot of flying arms and legs and floor work and all that stuff. I mean, there's been multiple times that I have hit someone in the face. I'm not proud of it, and I really try to be spatially aware, but sometimes I just get too into the choreography and I forget that there's someone like right next to me or I don't realize how close they are to me. And you know, everyone's done it. I really think everyone's done it. If you say you've never done it, then you've never been in as packed of a class and as crazy of a contemporary class and as packed as the classes that I am generally in. I mean, the fact that I have only done it a couple times in the millions of classes like this that I've taken is probably not too bad. Anyways, I'm just saying I do probably deserve to get hit in the face because I have also hit other people in the face. So it's not a big deal. I just want to explain this bruise that you may or may not be able to tell is on my chin. Okay. That was a blocking and the dress rehearsal. Was there something else I was going to say about the dress rehearsal? Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. So I think in the last episode, I talked about how my three pieces were spread out very nicely in the show. I can't remember if I talked about that or not, but last season, I had a quick change between two of my pieces where I had to literally change on the wings, in the wings on the side of the stage. Like I had to bring my costume and just like change right there on the stage and like go right back out for another piece, which was kind of crazy. It worked out. It was fine. Not the most fun thing, but I was in 4 pieces last season. When you're in a lot of pieces, I mean, there's 25 pieces, and a lot of these dancers are in maybe even 5 pieces. And it's really hard for them to give more space, more time for changing. A lot of times people are just stuck with having to change during just like one song and go back out there, because it really takes a lot of work for them to coordinate so that all the dancers have time to change and everything. So everyone has to have at least one song or one dance to be able to change. But having only one song is rough. And so you do have to do it kind of on the stage in the wings. Anyways, this season, the order they initially had, all 3 of my pieces were very spread out. I was like, oh, that's so nice. That's so stress relieving, because not only do I have time to change into all my costumes and I don't have to rush anything, I also can kind of go over the choreography in the hall or behind stage or in my head for each piece, like as it's coming up, instead of like last season when I kind of had to go over the choreography for both of those pieces, because I was literally just going to go right back out for the second one. I mean, obviously I know the choreography for all these pieces. We've been rehearsing for like months and months, but I'm still the type of person that like feels like they need to go over it kind of right before I go out, or, 20 minutes before I go out or something like that. So I really like to focus on one piece at a time. So I was really happy that I was going to have these spread out pieces. Then all of a sudden they changed the order, because whenever they come up with an order, people will be like, oh, this is messed up, or I'm actually in 2 in a row, or I can't do that change in one song because of such and such reason. So they'll change it. And so they changed it, and it was changed so that my first piece, K-Pop Demon Hunters, was like somewhere near the beginning in the first act. Second act, okay, High School Musical is the last number of the show, which is cool because we get to close out the show with this like big fun number. But then I had my contemporary piece 2 pieces before that, which means I was going to have a quick change right before High School Musical. And only one other girl was also going to have a quick change with me. And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, because my contemporary piece only has like 10 people. So it's not like a bunch of people are changing. So it gave me fear for a lot of reasons. I was like, first of all, High School Musical takes a lot of energy. We are running around that stage. We are never going into the wings. Everyone is on the stage constantly the whole time. Half the time we're like running, like physically running to different, like not skipping, running to different parts of the stage. And then we're shouting things at the audience. Like often the choreographer had us like actually saying things that were in the song, like, what are we gonna be? TEAM team and stuff like that to the audience. And it's fun and they like it, but it takes a lot of energy and breath to be able to like be breathing so hard and running around everywhere and remembering the moves and doing the choreography and then also shouting things to the audience. I mean, sometimes I did not say like a word or two so that I could like breathe in air, because I literally just like didn't have enough breath sometimes. So to do a piece that requires so much energy and breath, but have to go from a quick change. So I'm literally ending the contemporary piece with like, yeah, it's not my most physically exerting piece. I do go on and off the stage in that piece. But in the last half of the piece, I'm in most of it and partly in the front. And I help lift a girl at the end of that piece. So I am pretty out of breath at the very end of that piece. And then I'm going to have to change so fast in the wings into my High School Musical costume, which fortunately it's a very loose jersey type of costume. But something I realized at the run through that we had a couple weeks before is the tight black long sleeve shirt I'm wearing for the contemporary piece leaves all these little black fuzzies and stuff in my armpits right after I take it off. So I'm like, then I'm also going to have to like bring wipes and try to like get that off before I wear this like really loose, tank top style jersey where you can totally see your armpits. And I'm in the front a lot in High School Musical. And I'm like, I can't be having like black fuzz in my armpits. And like, I'm like, this is just going to be so rough. I'm going to be out of breath starting the High School Musical piece. I don't love this idea. I'm very stressed about it. And also the fact that there's only 2 of us that we're going to have a quick change. I'm like, they're going to forget us. Everybody's going to get out there and be ready to start this dance. And they're not going to remember that 2 of us have a quick change, and they're going to play the song and we're not going to be out there. And that's going to be stressful, because if it was like a bunch of people needing to change, they would know to like wait for everybody, but they're going to forget. And then I'm not even going to get to do it, or I'm going to have to run out in some weird moment. I was just like, this is like not going to go well. So I talked to both of the choreographers for my contemporary piece as well as for High School Musical. And I was like, do you guys mind if I ask if there's any way this can be changed? I mean, my contemporary piece only has 10 people. So I'm like, maybe that one wouldn't be as hard to change or like put in a different part of the order. And both of my choreographers were like, yeah, that's fine. Like, ask, you can, I don't care, like, ask for that or whatever. So I talked to one of the directors of the show and emailed them and just was like, if there's any way this could be switched. I'm like, I know you guys already work so hard on the order. I know it's super complicated. If it can't be switched, I'll just make it work. I'm gonna have to bring a bunch of water on the stage. And because, you know, I also struggle with like breathing and swallowing in dry mouth when I'm going on stage because of nerves. So that's something I'm working through, and it's gotten a little bit better, but it's still a problem. So there's also that. That's a personal problem for me. So I'm like, this is going to be like, I'm going to be so nervous about this. So, and I just really didn't know if it was going to work. I'm like, hopefully it'll work. I'm going to pray a lot. But anyway, so I sent this long email explaining my situation and being like, if there's any way, but also if not, no worries. I know you guys work hard. I'm so sorry. I feel really bad even sending this email, but if there's any way. Okay, so I didn't hear back for a little bit. Then that night, the directors sent out a general email to all of the LA Unbound cast, so like 100 or so people, and was just like, okay, because of the amount of requests we got for things to switch in the order, we're doing something new this season. We're going to invite and open the door for any of you to come up with a better order, keeping these things in mind. And then it had like 12 restrictions on like what needed to be in place for the order to work. So basically it had everybody's requests and also the things they always have to make sure, like to always have at least one song in between pieces and things like that. So my request was in there and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. I mean, it may have been taken as like a passive aggressive thing, but I actually thought it was just really smart because yeah, I mean, they just really want a good order. They're not like, it's not like they're mad about people having questions or wanting a different order. It's just that they work really hard on it and it is hard to do. So then when people make all these requests, it's even harder. So I think partly they want us to know how hard it is, like you try to do it type of thing. And partly I think they were like, if someone can do it and fix it, like go for it because they've been working on it for so long, you know? So I was like, maybe I'll try to fix it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be good at this. I've never tried to do anything this extensive with just like, I mean, there's so many people in every dance and to try to make sure like nobody's in 2 dances in a row plus all these other restrictions. I was like, I don't know if I could do it, but maybe I can try. Maybe I'll just like pray about it and I'll try. And maybe I'll save the day and like figure out a better order that's everybody's happy with. But I had to go somewhere that day, so I couldn't do it right then. But I was like, I'll do it when I come home. I'll try to do it. So I came home that night. So this is like maybe 4 days before the show or something. And I stayed up so late. So late. I worked on it for like 4 hours. Okay, at first I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, they already have a good order. It's not like the whole thing has to be changed. It's already in a good order. So I just have to look at these extra restrictions and things that people are asking. And I just need to use the order they have and just change a few things according to these restrictions, and I think I can figure it out. It might take some time, but I think I can do it. I'll just go through each one. I started doing that for maybe like an hour, and then I was like, this is too crazy. Like, this is so crazy. Like, how am I going to do this and make sure nobody's in 2 dances in a row? There's so many people, and I don't know how I can really check this myself. Then all of a sudden I was like, wait, isn't this what people like use AI for? Like, I don't ever use AI. I have never used AI ever, except like when I'm Googling something and then the first answer that pops up is the AI one. I do use that. But I've never actually gone to like ChatGPT or anything for anything, to write anything, to ask any question, like nothing. But I was like, this is what AI is for, is this kind of complicated stuff. I bet they can do something like this. And then I was thinking, how come the directors don't just use AI? Like, that would be way easier. Do they have something against using AI? Like, can't they just put this into AI? This is what I'm thinking. And so I'm like, I'm going to do this. This is going to be kind of fun. My first time using AI. So I put into ChatGPT, can you create a dance order, or can you create an order for dance pieces for a dance show based on certain restrictions? And it was like, yes, I can. Send me the dance numbers and all the people in each of them, and then send restrictions. And it gave me examples of what kind of restrictions I could send and that type of thing. And I was like, this is perfect. Obviously, it has done this before. It knows how to do this. So I spent a good amount of time like rewriting the restrictions in a way that I thought AI would be able to understand it better. And I sent that and they were like, this is great. We can do this. I don't know what happened, but basically I went back and forth with AI for hours because it kept being like, thank you. Yes, I can do this. But I need you to confirm this or say this, or it would give me an order, but then it'd be like, except it's missing this and this. So please put, the mandatory restrictions and then the preferred restrictions. And so I was kind of trying to think about it and be like, well, do we really need to do all these restrictions? Maybe there's a couple that like we don't really need to do. And so then I was trying to do like the restrictions that couldn't, be different, and then the restrictions that were just preferred. And I mean, it ended up taking me like 4 hours. And by the end of all of that work, and it was quite exhausting, even working with ChatGPT, it did not come up with a good order for me. And I was like, you know what? It is like midnight now or after that, and I am wiped out. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't care. I'm just going to change fast for the High School Musical piece, and who cares? And so I actually emailed the directors and was like, I tried to work on this for like 4 hours with using AI and I still couldn't do it. So I just want to say thank you so much for your guys' hard work. I really appreciate it. And whatever happens, happens. So the next day, they did say that a girl came up with the perfect order and someone did figure it out. And they also made a joke about how much water was being used because of everybody using AI. And I'm like, I don't know. Okay. That was the one time I ever used AI in my whole life. I mean, except I guess I do use it when I use Google, but I don't know how to prevent that. And I do kind of like it. So I guess I'm not trying to prevent it. But anyways, all that to say, oh yeah. So the point is that they did switch the order, and then it switched from my contemporary piece was in the first act now, and then K-pop Demon Hunters was kind of right before High School Musical. Like there were 2 pieces in between K-pop Demon Hunters and High School Musical, and both of those numbers are very elaborate and very high energy and a lot of people. So now everyone's kind of complaining that they only have 2 songs to change into High School Musical, also because of how much energy people exert in K-pop Demon Hunters, and then they have to do it again at High School Musical. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I don't love that either, but that is way better for me than what my schedule was going to be before. I'm really glad that I don't only have 1 song. I'm glad I have 2 songs now. And I'm kind of glad that everyone has to do it, or like a lot of people are in both of those pieces, because then nobody's going to get like forgotten. And like they're not going to start it without people for the most part. Like they shouldn't, they shouldn't accidentally forget people. So I was bummed that it wasn't as nice of an order as we had initially when all of the pieces were spread out, but I was glad to have 2 songs. And we were all so stressed about it. Everyone was like, just change in the hall. You're not going to have time to go back to your dressing room, all this stuff. But then we all were going so fast because we were so worried about it that most of us got done being changed into our new costumes within like 1 song. And then we'd have like the second song to kind of like breathe and chill and like get our water and like really get ready and like feel like at peace before we started the next one. So it was good that we had the 2 songs. It ended up being more than enough time. It was fine. I mean, would it have been a little better if they were a tiny bit more spread out? Sure, we could have caught our breath a little bit more, but for the most part, it worked out. Once we did it at the dress rehearsal, and that was fine, I think nobody was like super stressed about it for the performances, because then after the dress rehearsal, we have 2 performances. We have like a 4 p.m. one and a 7:30 p.m. one. So it's just a really long day where you're doing all the pieces 3 times. And it's a lot of costume changes, and some people even have makeup changes and hair changes and everything. So it just is like a really, really crazy day. It's also fun. Like they're giving gifts to choreographers, and choreographers are giving gifts to the dancers. And usually all the dancers like pitch in for certain gifts for the choreographer, and the choreographers often bring little gifts for all the dancers. And so there's a lot of gift exchanging. I've often said it feels like Dancer Christmas. Like it is a fun day. It doesn't feel like a super slow day. It goes by fast because there's so much going on and it's very organized. But by the end of it, you're just like, oh my gosh, let me go home. I mean, some people were already done with all their pieces before the show was over for the last show, and some of them were just like already leaving. And I was like, oh, I'm not used to having the last piece in the show. So I don't think I've ever like left early, because usually there's people that came to see me that I want to like see afterwards. But usually I can like relax and be like, okay, now it's just like the rest of the show, but I don't have to think about it, and I can just chill until it's over. And I was going to say something else about the dress rehearsal I forgot. So I did get hit in the face during dress rehearsal. Also, for K-pop Demon Hunters, so since it's not till sort of the end of the whole show, it's towards the end, I had a really long time of space in between my contemporary piece and that one. And so I changed into the costume for that one kind of early, which my choreographer was like, wow, Tracy, you're changing so early. Like, there's so many songs until then. And I'm like, I know, but like, might as well just be prepared. Like, I'm totally a person that's like really prepared early for things usually. Like, that's how I am. And so I put on the costume, but I didn't want to put on the whole costume because the shoes kind of hurt if I wear them too long and I'm standing. And I didn't want to put on like the whole jacket and the gloves and everything. I'm just going to like wear my sneakers because something I did wrong last season, because I was barefoot or wearing foot undies for all my pieces, all my 4 pieces last season. And I was just like walking around backstage and in the classrooms, and because we're at community college, so our dressing rooms are like in classrooms. And I was just like walking around all day just in my bare feet. And then by the time we did our third performance, my feet were hurting so bad. And that's one of the reasons why my attitude turn that I did for my Lion King piece, where I had like my little solo part in the beginning, that's one of the reasons why it didn't turn out as good. Partly because I just need to get more consistent at those, but also my feet were hurting so bad by that point because I hadn't thought about the fact that I should like wear sneakers behind stage or like not be walking around in bare feet all day, you know? So this time I'm like, I'm not going to have that problem. I'm going to wear my comfortable sneakers in between things. And so that's what I was doing. And it was just a dress rehearsal anyway. And I was wearing my sneakers. I hadn't put the jacket or the gloves on yet. And then it was finally becoming time for us to go on for K-pop Demon Hunters. And I was like, yeah, I'm already ready for it. So I'm walking to go over there to go behind stage. I have to come in from stage right. So we have to go kind of like down the stairs and over to the other side. It's like a further distance to get on the stage, to go behind the stage, to get on the stage from the right side. So I'm starting to head that way. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, my shoes. I literally was going to wear these like gross sneakers out there instead of these super cool like boots that God gave me from Goodwill. If you remember that story, they were like $350 shoes that I got for like $12, and they're so cute and I love them, and that's part of my costume and I have to wear them. I was like, I can't believe I almost didn't switch my shoes. So I switched my shoes, and as I'm putting the boots on, and like the song before ours is going right now. It's on stage. I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have to run all the way backstage. I don't like this. Like, this is making me nervous because I'm getting like out of breath, like thinking about this. Now I'm gonna have to like run behind the stage to even get there on time because of my dang shoes I forgot to put on. And as I'm trying to put them on, usually they're super easy because they do tie and lace up all the way because they're like these combat boots type of thing. And at the top, they kind of like lace around. They don't lace through holes at the top. They lace around these little like silver, I don't know what they're called, but they're not like held super tight. But they always have held. The laces have never fallen off or anything. So they're always just tied, and there's a zipper on the side. So you just unzip and zip them. So it's very easy to put them on and off. But I went to unzip it or zip it up, and I looked and like the laces had come out, and I was like, oh my gosh. Then I'm trying to like put them around those little silver things, and like, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe these are not tied. And I already like, I'm running late and I have to get over there. And like, yeah, granted it is just the dress rehearsal, but like, this is crazy. This is happening right now. And the dress rehearsal is serious. Like, they're doing it like the show. So you got to get out there, you know? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm trying to get this on. I'm like stressing. I'm like, Tracy, just calm down. You're going to be fine. Just calm down. And so I'm getting this on. I'm lacing it up. And then I'm just like racing over there. I'm like, okay, Tracy, don't run too fast because you're going to get out of breath. You don't want to start the song out of breath. So I'm like doing a light jog to get there, finally get up there, and I'm, you know, on the right side of the stage behind the wings, and I am there with other people getting ready. And all of a sudden I look at this girl and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot my jacket and my gloves. I was like, I can't believe I didn't put on my jacket or my gloves. That's part of my costume. Like, I did have my bracelet. I did have my earrings because like those are things I was wearing for like ever because I put on the costume early. But I didn't want to also wear the jacket and the gloves before it was time. But because all that happened with my shoes, I forgot to also put my jacket and my gloves on. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally just wearing this black t-shirt with this black shorts. I'm supposed to have color. Like, the jacket's like bright pink, and like there's a whole vibe with my gloves and everything. It's supposed to look edgy, you know, we're K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm like, I can't believe I'm just wearing this like lame outfit now because I just completely forgot. And this girl's like, can you run back and get it? And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I think I'm going to be late if I do that. And also, I'm going to be really out of breath. I'm already sort of out of breath from running over here because of the shoe situation. So I was really upset with myself. as you guys know, I'm on a journey to not be a perfectionist, and it really was just the dress rehearsal. But also the dress rehearsal is when the professional photographer is there taking really good pictures. Like, he gets really good photos during the dress rehearsal. That's when he takes the pictures. And we often like save these pictures and post them on our Instagrams because they look really cool. And I'm like, of course, I'm not wearing my full costume for the photos, and I can't get it. Like, there's no way that I can get it now. This sucks. I was in a bad mood. I was like, oh, great. Now I'm going to probably mess up all the choreography because I'm like in a bad mood and I'm thinking about this. But sometimes, as I talked about in my last podcast, sometimes when something like that comes up, it kind of helps me with the choreography because I'm not overthinking about the choreography because I'm just like mad about something else. So in a way, I was like, maybe this will help me. I don't know. But I was just like, I was like trying to pep talk myself in my head. I'm like, Tracy, just get it together. Like, just perform like you're wearing the whole costume. Don't start performing worse because you're not wearing your whole costume and you're mad. Just like perform like this is your costume, you know, this is what you got to do at this point. It's like too late. You had to make a decision. And I felt bad. I'm like, oh, the choreographer's going to see me that I'm not wearing my costume. And like, I just felt really bad, but I was like, this is it. Like, and so in the beginning of K-pop Demon Hunters, I start in the back. So I come to the front and I have a lot of parts in the front, but in the beginning, I'm in the back. There's these 3 lines. I'm actually the very back of the line that's all the way onto the right side. And we're crouched down. We start out crouched down and then we like pop up at the beginning of the song. And I'm crouched down and all of a sudden I'm like, why does this feel off? Like, why does something feel off about my spot? I'm like looking at the girl in the other line. Like, am I aligned with her? Like, why does this feel weird? Like, before the music started. And the music starts, and right as the music starts, I notice like the girl in front of me is not there. Like, the girl that is usually in front of me is not there. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, wait, where is she? So then it was like too late to like tell anyone that we were missing someone because I was overly thinking about my costume, and then the music started and we just had to go. So I was like, oh my gosh, I was so thrown off. I'm like, I'm thrown off that I'm not wearing my costume. I'm thrown off that the girl in front of me is not there. Cause like when someone's not there, even at rehearsals and stuff, it's like hard sometimes because you're going off of different people. Like that's where you know where to stand and that kind of thing. And so I was just like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, Tracy, just go. So I'm like dancing it. And then somehow she ended up in the piece at some point. I didn't know what happened, but anyways, I actually felt like I did a pretty good job. I just kind of like went for it and I didn't forget anything and I was having fun. And afterwards, I was just kind of like laughing, but I couldn't believe I forgot the jacket and the gloves. And I actually have been wearing the jacket for the last like 5 rehearsals. Like nobody's wearing their costume to rehearsals unless it was like a specified day where we were supposed to wear costumes at rehearsal. But I would wear my jacket every rehearsal for like the past 5 times before the show because I just wanted to practice wearing a jacket while I dance because I don't usually wear like jackets during dance class or, you know, some people will wear stuff like that. They'll wear some sort of like jacket or something that's like open or has like a zipper. I'm not used to dancing like that. So I just like wanted to wear this jacket every time so I would not be uncomfortable with it on the stage. And the girl that wears the jacket every single rehearsal literally forgot it for the dress rehearsal. I was like, what is this? That's crazy. So anyway, I was glad that I danced okay, but I was just like, I can't believe I forgot that stuff, whatever. I'm like, when I'm really not going to forget it, I cannot forget it for the performances because now I'm like overly thinking about it. I'm just going to put on the jacket and the gloves like 5 songs early because like I need to make sure that I have everything on and the shoes because I definitely can't forget the shoes. So anyway, a few things went wrong during the dress rehearsal, but as they say, that's what dress rehearsal is for. Last season, I don't know, I feel like my first show, there were things that went wrong in the dress rehearsal. But it's like, that's why we have dress rehearsal, to figure that out and figure out the formations a little better, ask the questions we need to ask. It's just like a very quick amount of time, like a quick turnaround to figure out the things you did wrong and try to like fix it for the actual performance when there's like actually an audience. So it's a little stressful. I was really this season trying to have joy and not have stress. I was like, I just want to have the least amount of stress this season because now it's my 3rd time doing this. I don't want to feel so stressed and nervous. I just want to have joy. And I will say that I still had a lot of stress. I do think that it was easier for me to breathe than it has been in past seasons. Like my mouth didn't get as dry as normal. It was easier for me to breathe and swallow than in past times because I have this problem where I get like dry mouth when I'm going to go on stage because I'm super nervous. So I bought this Biotine mouthwash stuff that's supposed to kind of help your mouth stay lubricated. And so that does help a little if I can get like a swig of that before I go on stage, but can't always happen when you have a quick change and that type of thing. But anyway, this time I felt like that was a little better. I felt like my breathing was a little better. My mouth wasn't as dry. So I obviously wasn't as nervous as normal, but I was more in the front this season than normal. And so I was stressed. I did feel an extra amount of stress about that because that's not something I'm totally used to. And because 2 of the dances are fast and more upbeat and hip hop style, I mean, I like it, but I'm not used to doing that, especially on the stage, especially being in the front. And those are like hard hitting moves like that are fast. So you can't mess it up. Like you can, but it's going to be obvious. Whereas contemporary, it's like more flowy and like, yeah, you can mess that up too. But like, I feel like it's easier to cover up if you mess up, and it's kind of tends to be slower. And so you can kind of flow into the next move if you sort of forgot something, but not with hip hop, not with K-pop, not with even musical theater. I feel like it's just very like everyone's together. You need to stay on the beat. You know, I also don't want to go faster than the beat because I was doing that at the run through a little bit. The run through that was a couple weeks earlier. But I found myself on stage like really trying to be present. Like there were moments when I was on stage and I was literally speaking in my head, go slower, Tracy, go slower, which is like a very big deal for me that I was able to do that to myself when I'm on stage. A lot of times when I'm really nervous on stage, I kind of have like this out of body experience. I almost don't even know what's happening. And afterwards I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just do that? What happened? And then I'll watch it and be like, oh wow, I was going kind of fast, or like, you know, and then I'll realize what was happening. But I'm actually able now to stay a little more present when I'm on stage and even enjoy it to a degree. Like there's times that I'm like actually having fun, but then I'm also still like a little bit nervous about messing it up. But I just have to tell myself, like, you already know it. Just stay in character. You already know it. In the run through that we had 2 weeks prior, I did really try the experiment of just not thinking about the choreo and just being like, just be in character. You know the choreo. And that really did help me to enjoy it, have fun, and do a good job. This time, being on the actual stage with an audience, it was a little harder for me to just be like, who cares, Tracy? You got the choreo. Just stay in character. I was telling myself that, but it wasn't really working because I was like, oh my gosh, no, I can't forget the choreo. So I was still a little bit nervous like that, but there were moments when I was more present and I was like, slow down, Tracy, slow down. Something that was helping me was I was trying to think about other people when I was on the stage. Like in High School Musical, there's a couple moments where I'm partnering with somebody. I am in a partner formation in that one. And I was thinking in my head, like, I don't really want to say people's names, but let's say the girl's name is Amy, which there wasn't a girl named Amy, but I was saying in my head, go Amy, like while we're doing the choreography, because I wanted to feel connected with other people. And I also wanted to not be overly thinking about myself because that was what was getting me stressed out. So I was trying to like watch the person I was dancing with and like be cheering for them in my head to try to like get myself out of my head. And actually that was really helpful. I did that a few times. I did it with each partner that I danced with for a little bit. And then I even did it with like someone I was dancing near, and another part I was like thinking about them and like cheering them on in my head and just thinking like, we got this, just like thoughts like that as I'm going. That was really helpful. And it's such an upbeat, fun song. And we are all like working together and doing it together, but you can feel alone because you still have to like do your part and like get it out, you know? But when everyone starts telling the stories of little parts they missed and stuff like that, you realize, okay, nobody's perfect. It's a live performance. Like, it's just not going to be 150% perfect, you know? Hopefully it'll be as perfect as we can make it. Hopefully it'll look really good. But if you can stay in character and keep going, even if you mess up, I mean, that's a big thing. Like, just to stay in character and not acknowledge that there was a mistake and just keep going. That's important because then the audience might not even know or realize it, you know? But if you make a big face about it and then don't know what to do, then it might be really obvious. So fortunately, it seemed like everyone was professionals in that sense. And I don't really think anything happened with any of us where it was like overly obvious or anything. I think a lot of it was really strong. Actually, all the friends I had that came said that all our pieces were really strong and looked clean, and they really enjoyed them, the contemporary piece and High School Musical and K-Pop Demon Hunters. So, and probably all of them, but like those were my friends talking about the pieces I was in. And so I got a lot of encouragement in that way. And one thing that was funny, so I didn't actually get that many people to come. I tried to talk about it a lot. I posted on my Instagram stories a lot. I also invited many people, like personally, individually, but people are just out of town or they can't spend $30 or it's like $20 to $30. But yeah, it's a summer. People just have a lot going on. So I did get about 4 friends to come. So that was cool. And then I thought for the night show that I was going to only have like one friend, and I wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to stay for like the whole thing because he was talking about how he might have to leave early, and I was like, oh, my pieces are kind of at the end. I mean, that's okay, but you're going to miss it, you know. He ended up staying, so that was cool. But I thought he was the only one that was like my friend that was going to be in the audience for the evening one. And then what was crazy is I'm practicing in the back. So I was kind of feeling like less nervous. Like I still want to do a good job, mostly for the choreographers. I mean, for the audience, of course, but also the choreographers put so much of their heart into these pieces. And like, I'm mostly nervous because I don't want to mess up their vision, like for any of my choreographers. So that's like probably the main reason I get nervous and like want it to be really good. But still, I was like, I don't really have anyone seeing me in this one. Like I have one person, but I don't have like a bunch of people seeing me. I shouldn't have to be as stressed for the evening performance. And plus it's the last one. We're almost done. It's fine. I can be more chill. I can enjoy it more. That's usually what happens by the last one. I'm like, I already did this twice. Like it's going to be fine. I'm like a little more chill for the last one. But still I'm practicing in the hall in the back where like the audience isn't, but like where the other dancers are, where the classrooms are, where the dressing rooms are. And there's like a hallway and bathrooms, and like we're practicing sometimes back there or talking to other people. And I'm practicing for one of the pieces, and I'm dressed in my partial K-pop Demon Hunters costume. Like I don't have the jacket on at this point. And I'm practicing in the hallway. I'm very focused. And then all of a sudden this guy is about to pass me, and he looks at me and he's like, hey. And it's literally the dad of the kids that I babysit. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like not expecting to see him. I did invite them, but I invited a lot of people, and it didn't sound like they could come. Like literally the mom was like, yeah, I don't think we'll be able to make it, but you know, yeah, send us the videos. We want to see the videos. Cause I literally was like, you'd probably have to find a babysitter. And like, I am their babysitter. They do have another babysitter too, but it was kind of a joke. I was like, you'll probably have to find a babysitter though, because like it is a long show. It's also very loud. There's also some pieces that like are maybe not super family friendly. Like it's fine. Like, the show is like generally family friendly, but there's a couple pieces that maybe are like a little bit adult. And so, yeah, I was like, probably the 3 and 5-year-old are not going to like want to see this show, you know? But so I did not think that they were coming. And then I see the dad and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, you're here. He's like, yeah. And like the kids came too, and my parents are here too. So literally they brought the little kids that I babysit, and then the husband and wife, and then their parents, the grandparents of the kids, also came. Like all of them came. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'd already done my contemporary piece, but I hadn't done my other 2 pieces yet. And they were coming up. And like, I don't even know how we got back there. He said that someone directed him back there to go to the bathroom. I do believe there's a bathroom. I think there's another bathroom that the audience, because I've never seen any audience person like come back there in our bathrooms. But I guess somehow maybe he went out like the side door or something. And so someone directed him to the bathroom over there. And like, just what are the odds that he's going to pass me? I was like, God, why did you have that happen? Because now I'm so nervous that like I have a whole group of people here to see me. I'm so nervous. And like he did say like, oh, they're loving it or something. And like he was really nice. But I was just like, oh my gosh, like now I can't mess up. But then I felt like I'm like, okay, I feel like there's a reason God had me see him, and God had me know that they're here. Like maybe it's supposed to get me excited. Maybe it's supposed to get me like, okay, it's just these little kids that are seeing me. They're not going to know if something's wrong. They're going to know if I messed up. They're just pretend, Tracy, that you're like babysitting and you're just making up a silly dance for them. Just pretend that. Like that's so easy. You would never get nervous about that. So just pretend like it doesn't matter because they're little. So it doesn't matter as long as you're like smiling and, you know, performing. It doesn't really matter what happens. Like you're just performing for these little kids. Like they don't care. They don't know anything about dance. They don't know like if anything's perfect or not. So I was trying to like use that to get myself to calm down. But I was literally like, oh my gosh, I can't mess up when they're here. Their whole family is here. I can't mess up anything. So I was struggling a little. I was like, oh God, please help me. I kind of wish I hadn't like known they were here. It was kind of funny that they never told me they were coming. But anyway, I did the pieces in the evening performance. They went well. It was fine. Nothing went wrong. And then I saw them after the show, and they were just like going on and on and on. Like the grandparents especially just really talking to me, asking me a lot of questions about my life, telling me how much they like the show. But like everybody was saying how much they like the show. And the little kids like stayed up the whole time. I mean, they came to the 7:30 p.m. show, and it's like a 2-hour show. And the parents told me they really liked it, and it was so fun to see them. They were kind of shy seeing me in that space. But like later on, what did the dad tell me? He told me that the older one, the 5-year-old, when he was going to bed, asked his dad, did you really like the show? And his dad said, yeah. And the boy said, okay, but did you like it? Did you just like it? Or did you really like it? Because I really liked it. That's what the 5-year-old said. And the dad told me that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. I love that. So it was really fun that they came. And then I babysat for them yesterday and got to talk to them more about it. And the older one, it's funny because the 3-year-old is the one that really likes dancing. Like, he loves to dance. I feel like he's just like, he just will break out into dancing like randomly all the time. And it's so cute. And he definitely has like this really cute groove thing happening when he dances. The 5-year-old is more like intellectual and like wants to color, and he'll be like so intense with his coloring and do like a super good job. And he's very focused, but he's not as much of like a mover. But he was the one that seemed to really like the show and like kind of want to talk about it and the different pieces. And he really liked High School Musical. He kept calling it the one where we were the Lakers. He's like, that one where you were the Lakers? I'm like, yeah, we weren't the Lakers, but that's hilarious, like, because that's what he knows with, like, basketball. But we were wearing jerseys, and, yeah, he really liked that one. So that was really fun and encouraging. And my friend that came that really liked it as well, and he ended up staying the whole time. And, and then the dad of my babysitting kids said to me, he was giving me, like, specific encouragement. He's like, yeah, I loved how you were like really present in all your pieces. It was so cool that he said that, because I don't think I've ever talked to them about any of my struggles with dance performance, but that is my struggle, is I often have like an out of body experience and I'm not fully present because I'm just so stressed. And like, I really was trying to be present. So the fact that he could see that, because there were a lot of moments where I felt present, it was kind of like in and out of that. But I did have more moments than normal where I was more present. You know, it's a journey. I want to be there. I want to be like, yeah, I'm not nervous anymore. I'm just having joy on stage. And I may never get to a point where I'm totally not nervous, but I'd like to come to a point where it's a lot less. Kind of like getting videotaped in class. Like, I used to get so nervous when a camera came out that I would just forget all the choreo. And now it's like, I'm barely any more nervous when there's a camera in front of me, like a tiny bit. But I'm so used to it. But I'm just not super used to live stage performance. And to me, it feels more nerve-wracking because it's not a video you can edit. It's not a video you can just like decide not to post. It's like, this is it. This is your one chance. This is the audience is only seeing it this one time. So you have to get it right. The choreographer wants you to get it right. And they are videoing it, but you can't like edit it or cut it or be like, we don't want to use it. They do video both performances and they will choose one of them. So if you mess up in one, maybe they'll choose the other one, but you don't know, because the choreographer might like that one for some reason. Last season, there was one dance that I messed up in. I was in the back. I do feel like it was a tiny bit obvious. The choreographer said she didn't notice it, but anyway, I really was hoping they wouldn't choose that one as the one to put on YouTube, and then they did choose that one. So it just feels like more pressure. And so I'm glad that it's getting better. Like, I'm getting more joy, less nerves, but it's still a journey. I will say, though, that what I really want to do, like, I do want to get better at performing. And of course I love dance, but what I really like doing is teaching and choreographing. And choreographing doesn't come super easy to me yet, but when I do come up with choreography, I feel like it has to be a divine moment where God just like gives me choreography for something. Because usually the songs that I've choreographed to, it's just really come out of me so easily. So it feels like it's inspired or something, because in general, it's not a fast process for me to come up with choreography. It just has to be like the right song, the right moment. I'm like, yes, wait, I have choreography for this. So anyway, but I like coming up with choreography, and I like to teach it to other people, and I like to watch other people do my choreography. Like, if I were to do a piece for LA Unbound or for any kind of show, most likely I don't think I would want to put myself in the piece, because I really like to just create it, teach others, and like watch it and like see what happens. Like, I don't need to be the one on stage. I actually sort of like being behind the scenes. This is something that I learned about myself, I think mostly in college, because I had this internship in college. I don't remember I think it was like my junior or senior year. I had a little internship where I was getting paid a little bit near my school where I went to school. It was with a radio station. So my degree was in communications. I was studying communications, and that also incorporated like advertising and stuff. So I worked for this little radio station in the area, and I helped write commercials basically. So I would like sit at this little desk, and they would give me, you know, a local restaurant and a bunch of bullet points about it, and I'd have to come up with a commercial. And this is actually where I learned that I kind of didn't want to do marketing, because I kind of hated that I had to like pretend to be excited about something that I didn't care about. Like, I've never even been to this restaurant. Like, I don't know anything about it, and I have to make up something to try to get people to go to it. Like, I realized I didn't really want to work at a marketing firm because I didn't want to just get handed a bunch of things and have to pretend to be excited about it and pretend to come up with something cool to get people to want to go when I don't even really care about it. So I realized, like, if I do want to, my major was not in communications. It was in marketing. Like, oh my gosh. It was almost going to be in communications, but it was in marketing. Anyways, so what I realized was I didn't want to work for a marketing firm because I didn't want to just like market. It was really hard for me to be creative with stuff that I didn't care about. It's not that I was like against doing that. It was just very hard for me to do that. It was very stressful, and I really couldn't force the creativity out of myself. So I thought, if I want to do marketing, I think I need to work for a company that like already feel passionate about and like, and do marketing for them only. Like, I just don't think I can work for a firm where I'm marketing different things every week. So I was trying to get through that job, but I wasn't getting paid that much, and I was just having to like write these little scripts for these brands and companies I didn't care about. But one day, one of the producers was like, Tracy, I need an extra voice for this commercial, because he would literally like record the commercials there in the recording studio. And he's like, would you mind just like stepping in to do this like one voice part? And I was like, would I mind? No, please. I would love to do that. Like, acting, I would much rather do acting than like write these scripts for these companies I don't care about. So I went into the studio, recorded something. I don't remember what that one was, but I remember him going, have you done acting before? And I was like, why, yes, I have. And he's like, wow, you're really good at this. He's like, I might use you for more of this. And I was like, okay. So I did end up doing more voiceover work for them. So almost every time I went in there, I ended up doing voiceover work instead of writing stuff, which then I did like it. But it was still paying less than my job at Starbucks. And eventually I was just like, I can't keep doing this job. Like, it doesn't pay me enough, and it's taking up my time and whatever. But anyways, one time I did write a script. So after I had started doing voiceover work there, I was still a little bit writing scripts, and there was some kind of like t-shirt company where they print, it's like screen printing on t-shirts or something, that I was writing an ad for. And I came up with this script, but it had like 5 people in it. I don't remember what it was about, but I really liked it. It was like one of the scripts I wrote that I actually thought was good. And I did this whole interaction with different people, and I really thought it was good. And I showed it to the producer, and he was like, yeah, it's good, but like, we don't have people to do all those voices. And so he wanted me to like rewrite it or do it different. And I was like, well, wait, what if I can find people to do the voices? He's like, I mean, I guess if you can get them. So literally, I just asked my friends at school if they would do the voices and come into the recording studio and do the voices. And I got to like direct the whole commercial because it was like my commercial because I wrote it. And I don't even think I said anything in it. I think I just gave the parts to all of them because I found enough people. And I absolutely loved being in that room, directing it, like telling them how to act the voices, and then like helping with the editing of it. I love that so much. And it was this moment of realization of like, I think I sort of like being behind the scenes. I think I sort of like writing and directing more than I like being like the one that's acting, even if it's just voice, or maybe if it is on camera acting. I really think I like being behind the scenes more. And so it was this realization. And when I ended up eventually pursuing acting, my actual plan was like, I'm going to start with acting so that I can learn about directing through acting. And then I want to direct. Like, that's what I really wanted to do. Like, I don't know why I thought that was like a good plan. I mean, I'm sure that happens to people every once in a while, but that's sort of like a more magical plan. Like being a director in LA, like there's a lot you have to go through. I learned that at some point, but I don't know that I really wanted to like direct a full on like feature film. I think I just knew that I wanted to do something with like directing, which I don't know. I still am hoping that my books will turn into a movie at some point. And what I want to do in the contract for that is be like, I want to have a say in the casting, and I want to have a say in the directing. Like, I want to be able to be on set and like help with that. Like, obviously I'm not a director, but like, since I know the story the best, I want to be able to have like some say in that type of thing. So that's something that I want written in the contract once that happens. I actually, on my Dance Journey podcast, one of the episodes, a girl interviewed me, and instead of me always being the interviewer, and she asked me about my book, and I was talking about how I wanted to be turned into a movie, and she was like, would you want to be in it or something? Or she's like, wouldn't you want to be the star of it? Like, wouldn't you want to play yourself, like, you know, and have them like make you look younger, or like, and then get older or whatever? And I was just like, Not really. Like, because I want to have a good actor. I want to have a good actor who plays me, you know? And I'd rather like help direct it or like help them learn how to like do the part versus like me doing it. Like maybe it'd be fun to do like a little cameo part just for fun or something, but like I don't want to be in it. I want to be able to see it and like help it look how it's supposed to look. And so anyway, why was I saying this? Oh yeah, because I do get a lot of stage fright and I'm hoping to work through that. I'm hoping to get better at it. I do think it's important to perform in order to become a better dancer and in order to become a better choreographer and someone who can like set a vision on other people as well. But I think what I would enjoy more and have much more joy doing is just like putting the vision together, doing all the rehearsals, being in charge, like teaching, helping people learn stuff, kind of, you know, explaining my vision well, and then being able to really just like watch it. And I have done that before a little bit when I worked in a youth group a long time ago. I did put together a dance. I actually choreographed a whole dance. I worked with a dancer, like a dancer who like really studied dance because I wasn't even pursuing dance back then, just like a little bit. I took classes here and there. And I worked with her, but it was really my vision. And I had this vision for a dance performance for like 2 years. I think I talked about it either on this podcast or I talked about it in the first season of the Dance Journey podcast. I talk about my own dance journey, and I do think I talked about it there. So if you want to hear that story, you can go back and listen to the first season of Dance Journey because it's 6 episodes of my own dance journey. But yeah, I was able to set the choreography on people. I came up with most of the choreography. I had like a whole vision for this song. I was so excited about it, and it turned out really good. And it was so amazing to like watch it. I mean, these dancers were good dancers who were training in dance and stuff. So it was amazing. And the dancer that was helping me was amazing and also understood my vision and helped me like to carry it out. So that was really cool. And that feeling that I had from that experience was so amazing. And I would love to be able to do that again. I've gotten little visions for choreography that I want to put on a stage, but nothing with the clarity of like, okay, I'm really going to do this. It's just kind of like little ideas in my mind. But I'm excited that the show is over. I mean, partly just because it's nice to have a break. We've been practicing for so many months. It's kind of nice to like get to forget about these songs now. And I can just like practice my own dance stuff and just come up with my own choreography and hopefully do some pop-up classes again. Like that's what I really want to do is like teach and do pop-ups. And so, or I mean, have a regular class eventually once I get better at coming up with choreography faster. But yeah, so I'm excited to like start focusing on that now that the show is over. And it's kind of like, what does my life look like now that the show is over? Because I was taking up a lot of my time, but I'm just continuing to take class, continuing to work on my second book, continuing with both of these podcasts, and now I just want to come up with choreography for my own thing. And also I want to take more ballet. So I'm going to finally check out the ballet studio near my house and see how that is. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. And was there anything else I wanted to say about the show? I feel like there was things that I forgot. Oh, I did get to like help other people with the choreography behind stage. Like in the classrooms and where we were all getting ready, there were people that were like, oh, can you go over this choreography with me? Because I am someone that even though I am so nervous about forgetting the choreography, it's kind of like ironic because I probably go over the choreography more than anybody and I actually know it really well. So people will often like ask me what it is or want to go over it with me. And that's something that I really enjoy doing. Probably like more fun than even performing on stage. I like to go over the choreography with people backstage, like not like right backstage. I mean, yeah, maybe, but like, I mean, really backstage, like in the dressing rooms and stuff like that in the hallway. And I like to help people really get stuff. So when I'm going over something with someone, I'm like, do you want to do it again? Do you want it for 4 more times? Do you want to do it 6 more times? I like to drill stuff so people can feel comfortable and more at ease with it. There was one girl that asked me to go over something with her and I did. And I was like, okay, you want to do it a couple more times? She's like, no, I got it. I was like, okay. And then it was something that she kept mixing up, which is why she wanted to go over with me. And then I think it was after our dress rehearsal or something, she was like, I messed it up. She's like, I messed it up on stage. I'm like, I asked you if you wanted to go over it more. She's like, I thought I had it. So anyway, I do enjoy going over choreography with people and like teaching people. It's funny, like doing these kinds of projects, it kind of shows you more about your personality and like what you actually really like to do and maybe what you don't like to do as much. I still think it's important to perform, and it's not like I had no fun performing. I just noticed that there's other things about the production of it that I might enjoy a little bit more, which is mostly that I think I just want to be a choreographer. So eventually that is the goal. And then, there's a few other things. There's this one girl. Okay, so I went in a different dressing room this time. So the past 2 seasons, I've always gone into the downstairs dressing room. It's like classrooms / sort of dressing rooms in this school. And the one downstairs, I don't even know what they all look like because I always just have gone to the downstairs one because my very first season, I saw people going to that one. And I was like, oh, should I go to this one too? And they were like, yeah, come in here with us. And it has a TV in there that actually shows what's happening on the stage. And they were like, yeah, this is the only room that has a TV that shows what dances are going on. I'm like, oh, well, then this is the room to be. Plus, there was a little water refill station, which was nice, in the room. And there's like a little bathroom in the room, which, I mean, I don't think I ever even really used that bathroom because it's kind of weird because it's like in the dressing room. But it was nice that there were like sinks in there and I could use my Biotine mouth rinse easily and like spit it out in the sink and stuff like that. So I liked that room. There were like some desks, some places to hang things, and then there were like some areas that were kind of more like actual dressing room-ish where there were like mirrors people could sit at. I never went for one of the mirrors because I felt like I'm new and like maybe I don't have as many pieces as other people, so I'm just going to take one of these random desks in the middle. So I took this random desk in the middle. I did the exact same thing last season. I went into that exact same desk in the exact same room. And I think it's just because I don't like change. And so I'm just like, this is what I'm used to doing. I'm used to being in the room with the TV, all this stuff. But this season, I was actually in like just different type of numbers. Like last season, I was in mostly contemporary pieces and like a certain group of people that I kind of always tend to dance with in LA Unbound. And this season, I was with like a lot of new people and doing pieces that were not my normal style. And so I also was like, maybe I should be in the dressing room that has more of the people that I'm actually going to be in pieces with so that I can be talking with them about it and be prepared with them and not missing any cues and that type of thing. So one of my choreographers was like, we were all talking about which dressing rooms we usually go to. And one of the choreographers was like, I usually just go to the classroom because the one downstairs is more like a partial classroom, partial dressing room. And then I guess there's one in the more upstairs area that is like a legit dressing room. I don't think I've ever walked in there until this season because I didn't realize it actually looks like a legit dressing room where like there's only like mirrors with desks or mirrors with like a counter like all around the room. And then it's all like racks to hang stuff. So it's like kind of a legit dressing room. I didn't even know about that one. So I guess that's the one everyone usually likes to go to. And there's like, I think even full length mirrors and stuff in there. I was like, oh, what is this place, you know? But this choreographer said, I usually just go in the classroom, the one that like doesn't have any mirrors and stuff because there's just like more room because less people go in that one because no one cares about that one. And I was like, okay, that kind of sounds nice. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll look at all of them this season because like I never even look at the other ones. I always just go to the one I always go to. So I did see the really nice one first and it did look nice. I was like, whoa, but it looked really crowded. And so my first thought was like, you know what, maybe I will try the classroom thing. And so I was asking a girl that was in the nice dressing room, like, which classrooms can we use? Like, where's just like the regular classroom that we get to use? Because I was there kind of early. So she was kind of like pointing for me to like where they were. And so I picked one. I was like, literally nobody's in here, but I guess I'm going to put my stuff down in here. And eventually that one got filled, but it was mostly with people that were in my pieces. So that just kind of like worked out. And it was like a very calm environment. I just like needed a calm environment because I'm like, I feel nervous about these pieces because they're faster and because I'm in the front more and all this stuff. And I just like want to be around people that are in it with me so that we can talk about it. And I just want to be in like a really encouraging environment and I want it to be calm, like, and not feel so crazy with like too many people. So I was really grateful to be in a classroom that wasn't like quite as packed as the other rooms. And it was an encouraging environment. I was there with a lot of the people that I'd been working with and rehearsing with the whole season. So that worked out really nice. But my point was, I was going to say there was this one girl who I don't know super well. So a lot of these girls I just kind of got to know this season because I was dancing with like a lot of new people. So I made some new friends and stuff, which was cool. But one girl, I feel like every time I encounter her, she's like saying something really nice to me. And 2 different times on performance day, like one time she was like watching a video on her phone with someone else and I was like passing by and she was like, oh my gosh, Tracy, we were just like fangirling over your part in K-pop Demon Hunters, like my solo-ish part where I come out with the 2 other girls. And she was just like talking about how much she liked it or something, which she already has told me in the past, but she literally was like watching that part as I was passing her and she was just like, we're fangirling over you, ha ha ha, all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, thanks. And then this other time I was about to go to the bathroom where it was the only mirror because we're in the room without mirrors. I meant to bring like a portable mirror, but that is something that I forgot. And so I'm like, I'm going to go to the bathroom to like put my hair up in these like 2 half ponytails for K-pop Demon Hunters. So I had just taken my hair out and it was kind of in this like messy bun. So it looked kind of crazy because of my contemporary piece that I had just done. And so I just taken it out and I'm about to walk out to go to the bathroom and I pass this girl again and she's just like, wow, Tracy, your hair looks luscious or something. Or she said something like it looks luscious or luxurious or something. She's like, man, I mean, we've seen your hair in a lot of cute styles, but like, wow, never like that. I've never seen it down like that where it's just like so luscious. Like, it sounds like she's being fake the way that I'm telling this story, but she's actually like a really sincere person. I've heard her be really nice to a lot of people, and she seems really sincere, and she just seems like a really nice and encouraging person. And so this time when she said that to me, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, thanks. I was like, wow. I'm like, I feel like every time I pass you, you say something super encouraging to me. And she's like, oh, I'm glad. She's like, because that's something I'm trying to do more is when I think a nice thought about someone, I want to make sure that I say it. I mean, there's sometimes when maybe you just can't say it for some reason, but if I'm able to say the actual thought I'm thinking when it's a nice thought about someone, I always want to make sure that I say it. And I was like, wow, that's really nice. But the fact that you're even thinking nice thoughts about people says something about who you are, because yes, to think a nice thought and make sure that you actually say it to someone, that's huge. That's really cool. But how many people are actually even thinking about other people to the degree that they would have all those thoughts in their head? Because usually people are stressing about themselves or not. I mean, because actually her hair looked really cute. And when she told me my hair looked cool, I was just like, your hair looks luscious. Because like it did. I wasn't even being like insincere. I was just like, I wasn't thinking about her hair because I was thinking about how I have to get my hair up in these things and I hope it works out right and I have to go to the bathroom, and like I just wasn't thinking about her. So it really inspired me, and I was like, oh my gosh. I told her, I was like, I want to do that more too. I also want to say nice things when I think them in my head, and I also want to like think about other people and think nice things about them more. So that was cool. We had like a nice conversation, and that was like a girl that was in my dressing room that I didn't know that well, but was just like a really nice encouragement to me every time I passed her. So that was really cool. And I feel like there was like one other thing that I was going to say. Oh, I was helping all these people with the choreo in the hallways and stuff. And I was also working on my own choreo a bunch. And this one girl that I do know that I usually dance with, but like wasn't dancing with this season, we kept running into each other and passing each other the whole day. So I kept having conversations with her. And she saw me practicing, just like stressed out practicing like in the hall by myself. And she's like, Tracy, don't worry about it. You got it. You know the choreo. You got it. You're going to kill it. And like, I don't know. It was encouraging to me because she is someone that knows that I always have the choreo. And she was just kind of like laughing at how I'm like overly practicing it in the hallway. And that just like made me feel good. I was like, I know, you're right. I do got it. I wish I could just like chill. Even during the dress rehearsal, I wish I could just chill and like sit down and just watch the other dances. I did watch a few dances, and I always say, every season, I'm like, I'm going to sit down and I'm really just going to watch the other dances during the dress rehearsal because it's so fun that we get to do that. But I always end up getting caught up in my head. Like, I got to practice my piece. I got to make sure my costume's on. I got to like, and I just will end up hardly watching any of them. That happens at the run-throughs too. And I miss it. And like, I kind of miss just like watching the show. I kind of miss just watching LA Unbound because I used to just see the show when my friend used to do it and I never used to do it. I'm like, I miss how fun it was just to come to these shows. I even went to the show when like I didn't know anyone that was even going to be in it because I really like the shows. And so it would be fun to just be able to chill about my own choreography and actually just sit and watch other people's, but I can only do it a little bit. And I did do it with a few, but I was just like, I can't sit here anymore. I have to go like work on something and I have to be prepared. So it's just this nervous energy that I'm trying to get rid of. But speaking of, oh, was there one more thing? There was a point when during one of the actual performances where I have to walk off into the wings before I come on for my special part for K-pop Demon Hunters. And I do this sort of like thing with my head where I kind of like circle it around. And I always kind of like turn around as I'm doing it to kind of like walk off into the wing in a way that's like less obvious. But this time, because I was doing that and turning, and because I'm not used to being on the stage, I literally like hit the curtain that like divides the wing. I like ran into the curtain and kind of like jerked back because it like shocked me. It was so awkward, and like it's not super obvious. You can kind of see it in the video. I'm not sure if that's the video they're going to use, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was doing so good, and then I just like ran into the curtain. So there's just like these little things that happen when you're trying to dance on a stage that you're not used to. And then I was going to say there was one girl that I danced with in K-pop Demon Hunters whose two little kids came to the show, and I met them. Yeah, I think she has two little kids, and I met them at her house because she hosted a K-pop Demon Hunters movie watching thing where these kids were there and some of us from the cast were there, and I met her daughters. But one of them, well, it was her friend or her relative that was holding the 4-year-old, her little 4-year-old. And so I didn't know who this woman was or this little girl because I didn't remember that she was my friend in the cast's daughter. And this woman comes over with the little girl. She's holding her. And she's like, she just wanted to say that she really liked you, or she really liked your piece, or something like that. She just wanted to tell you she really liked the show, or I don't know. She came over to me specifically to say that, and it's this little girl, and she was so cute, and she was like, just started talking to me and telling me, she's like, I really liked High School Musical, and then she like couldn't think of the other one she wanted to say, and I was like, K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, I know that she likes that because like she's obsessed with that movie because I know her mom told us that, and she's like, yeah. And then she keeps like showing me her fingers. I thought she was trying to tell me how old she was, but then I realized her nails looked really cool. She had this like really cute manicure with all these little like polka dots, and I was like, oh, maybe she's trying to show me her nails. I'm like, oh, your nails are so pretty. She's like, thanks. And like, it was so cute. I just like felt like I had this little 4-year-old fan. It was really cute. Apparently I had a lot of little kid fans at this show, so that was kind of cute. Yeah. There's this part where I like arch up from the floor for my sort of special part for K-pop Demon Hunters, and the run through and the 4 p.m. performance, I did it perfect, where I got all the way up and held my balance, which is something I've been working on because half the time when I rehearse this, I kind of lose my balance as I'm coming up. So I just always tell myself, push off with your left hand, Tracy, and keep looking up. Just look up at God for God's help as you're coming up. Just look up at God and like just hold your arm up and look up, because I'm like holding these blades, fake blades, in my hands as I'm coming up during this like dramatic moment. But oftentimes during the dramatic moment, I like take another step because I start to fall as I'm doing it, because I'm doing it kind of slow and it's sort of hard, and like I have to really like work my abs to do it slow. So I tell myself, like, I come out of this like somersault thing. So I tell myself to like use the momentum from that to like push myself up, but then like let myself come up slow and just like keep my feet still. Like, don't move your feet, because it looks like a lot cooler when you just can come up smoothly and your feet don't move. But in the 7:30 show, I moved one of my feet and I lost my balance for a second. It's fine, whatever. Like, I feel like I danced the rest of it good, but I was just like, I'm so mad I messed that up, because I did it good in the 4 p.m. and I did it good in the run through or in the dress rehearsal. And so I'm really hoping that they use the 4 p.m. video as the one to post, but a lot of people like the 7:30 video, and it's fine. It's not about me, but I was like, I really wish I had done that good in every single one, so that no matter which one they picked, it would have been fine, but oh well. So that's like the little tiny things that like didn't go perfectly, but it's fine. Nothing really bad happened. And if they use it, it's not a big deal. Okay, let me see if there was anything else. I think that's it. Wow, this went really long though. Oh, but I was going to say, like, I missed just watching the Unbound show. And so speaking of that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do LA. I don't think I'm going to do LA Unbound next season. It's the fall season. I think they're doing like a Christmas one, which is like a little bit different how they run it. I don't even know exactly how they run it, but I think it's like a version of the Nutcracker. I think they also use kids. It's like a little bit different. I sort of feel like I need a break to just focus on my own choreography, and I really want to focus on ballet and just training and technique and like getting better. And I don't know. It's also just like, it's an amazing show. I love to watch it, obviously, and I also have loved being a part of it. It's been such a good experience, but also it's just like a lot. It's like a lot of pieces at once. It's a lot of rehearsals. It's kind of long. It's a lot of months, and the show day is so crazy. I'm like, man, what's going to happen when I have a performance with something else and we only have like one performance, or we don't have to be there from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.? Is it going to feel easy? I don't know. Maybe every performance you have to be there super. I don't feel like every performance you have to be there that early. I mean, I know there's a lot of things where you'd have to perform over and over for sure. That's not like that's abnormal, but I don't know, to have the dress rehearsal the morning of, I feel like that's like a little bit abnormal. It's not a terrible thing. It's just, I'm wondering if God gives me an opportunity to perform in another capacity, if it's going to feel like easy compared to this, because it just feels like such a crazy day. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know what my LA Unbound future looks like. I have a feeling, I'm mostly sure that I'm not going to do this next season. Will I do it in the spring? I don't know. I don't even know what my life's going to look like at that point. So we're just going to play it by ear, see how life goes, see where God leads. And yeah, I think that's all we're going to talk about for today, because that did definitely take up the whole time. I do have updates on the Toy Story movies. I am caught up. I watched Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4, and I do have thoughts on those that I want to share and some other things. So hopefully I'll get a chance to talk about that next time. But for now, I need to go home. I need to try to edit this and maybe get it out tonight or maybe get it out tomorrow. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for your patience because this took me a while to do. And I guess that's it. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye. The sun is going crazy on my face. It looks so crazy right now. I'm really sorry, guys, if you're watching this and it looks nuts. But anyways, I'm just going to keep going. I just need to somehow, like,